name is Ezekiel. Hope you are doing wonderfully. In this video, I will be walking you through how to record and process a vocal using Slate Virtual Mix Track. This is an advantage for every home recording studio owner like me and like you. Because if you take a look at here, I don't have any outboard gear that I'm using, and I'm not using that much expensive microphones to capture vocals. I just have one or two, but I don't have more. When it comes to vocal recording, for every professional and in every professional recording studio out there, they have numerous of microphones to capture vocals or to record anything they want to record. Because, for example, if you are capturing a vocal, we have different texture of vocal for male and female, and with the texture of individual vocals, so we have different microphone that can respond well to such vocal, so that we can test one or two, three, they can capture well for us during the recording. So after the recording, we won't later realize that the vocal is not, it does not sound well. And again, is that I don't have pre's to enhance or to process my recording or my signal during the vocal recording. So this is why I want to take the advantage of the technologies of nowadays, because there are a lot of emulations. So I have Steven Slate Virtual Mix Track, which has microphone emulations and different pre's, EQs, and compressors, so which are put in my signal processing chain that I'm going to be using for vocal recordings. So the virtual mix track is replacing my outboard gears that I might have been using here if I'm able to afford anyone here. Since I'm unable to afford any outboard gear that will do that job, I still have an emulation that sound close or like real one for me. So I'm going to be putting you through the processing, and now, before then, let me just play the vocals. So listen to how the vocals sound like in this one.
Fools, we find it boring. There's a nation story. Her own mommy lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. So foolish she begged her.
So that's the vocal with virtual mix track and Magma Baby Tube, which I use to add a little bit of saturation into the vocal to add more energy to the vocal's transient for me, and a little saturation with the coloration of those ones. These are the trick that every professional recording studios are doing during their recording. And now let me just turn on the plugins on it so you listen to how my microphone sound like in the real time.
There's a nation story. Her own mommy lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. So foolish she begged her.
That's my microphone. It sounds good, right? My microphone is not that bad. It still deliver well. I'm using GTS one. It's an inexpensive microphone, but I want to use the job for me during the mixing. Number one of the advantages of this one is that I won't be stressing myself during the mixing of this vocal, and for me to be taking time to be sculpturing, doing some subtractive EQ. It will reduce the number of the plugins that I'm using. It will also reduce the stress during the mix, and it will help the vocal mix to sound well for me. So let me show you the step-by-step of what I did to this one. This one is representing that I'm recording the artist live here. I was unable to do this one because the time I recorded the vocal, it was not a good time for me to go to do all of this things. So the vocal the raw vocal here is representing my artist being here live. I'm now going to be recording this one into another track. So this is the DI, and I'm going to be recording the processed one. This is what we are going to be doing. And before we go on, pardon me, because of the copyright strike, I wouldn't be able to play the instrumentation along with the vocal. But I promise you, look the description down here. You will see the link to the Jessica Ossom vocal cover that she has done. So I also recorded the video here. It's a fantastic one, and you'll love the performance. All right, before we move on, if you're new to this channel, please, I want to encourage you to subscribe and hit all the notification button. And also at the end of this video, or if you already like what you are seeing, support me by thumbing up for me. Do like and share this video, because this video, all I'm doing, there's no sponsorship for it. So the best gift and the best help that you can do for me right now is by thumbing up for me and drop your comment and share this video for YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. And now let me walk you through the processing of all of this one. And for you, if you're not a Cakewalk user and you're watching this video, I believe your respective DAW will be able to process effects during the recording. Like the Cubase user, there's a way they can insert the plugin directly into your input channel signal so that this one can process the recording for you. So, but this is how the Cakewalk is doing its own. It's good. It's good enough for me. Now I'm going to be walking you through the processing. So after I open the main channel with aux track, so the aux track is where I'm recording the effect on, which is the processed one. So I put the plugins on the main channel track, which is having the raw signal, which is also my direct signal. And that one is processing whatever the effect on the direct signal. So it's being processed on the aux track. So aux track is recording the processed one for me. And on the aux track, this is where I used the reverb and I do a sort of equalization for the reverb to sound clean into the artist's ear. Okay, so this is the DI Vox, this is the FX Vox. I'm coloring both red. Now take a look here on my Pro channel. So on Cakewalk, I can just exactly as you are working in the studio, so you can insert different numerous effects on the Pro channel, so which is lovely for Cakewalk. I used B-Reverb too, and I'm not doing much, and I just brought down the word signal up to minus 5 dB to have a subtle reverb on that. So I turn it on. So whatever the signal that comes here, the reverb is sound. So this is not going to be processing. So after that, I have a separate channel for the mix of the vocal after the recording. So these are just my recording tracks. And let me show you the virtual mix tracks. I'm going to be turning off this one. Let's turn it off. I use classic tubes here, so which it has the list of vintage microphones, which I love. And like I said, this is the default setting, and I'm bringing this one up to 120 something. It's good for me for the vocal. So let's just listen to how the microphone sound like on the vocal.
There's a nation story. Her mommy lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. So foolish she begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own. You will love your husband, swarthy woman, from the sky to moon, declared a woman, yeah, that's only payment.
You could hear the different texture of those microphones. So depend on the vocal that you are recording and will determine the kind of microphone that you want to use for that will match up and that will deliver well for your vocal. From then, I use FG76 as my preset, so which I increase the virtual drive up to 24 dB so that can add texture to the vocal for me. And also I use FGN British EQ, and I'm rolling off the low frequency up to 80 Hertz. I'm attenuating 4.8K up to minus 3.47 dB on the EQ so that to just shape the tone of the microphone. You know, each microphone has different frequency response. That's what I did there. So listen to that again. Let's see how I understand the preamp and the EQ on that.
There's a nation story. Her mommy lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. Till foolish begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own. You will love your husband, swarthy woman from the sky to moon.
So that's about the pre and the EQ. You could hear the texture of that, what the saturation, the drive does to the vocals. I'll try to blend and to add more character to the texture, and that's about the EQ. So from there comes to the classic gate. I'm selecting vocal process, so I just add a certain amount of the gate. Lastly, I have FG stressor. I'm going to be playing, so you'll see the meter here, and you will see the amount of the compression on the vocal.
There's a nation story. A Romani lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. Till foolish begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own.
Now the next thing for me to do is to print the vocal. So don't forget, this vocal here is representing my artist recording here live, though I don't have her here now. So let's see. I'm going to be going through that one. I'll be recording, and let me bring down a bit so that we can see how the vocal is being recorded to the aux track. And I'm going to be doing gain staging now. Okay, so before I keep on, I would like to show you Magma BB2, and I'll demonstrate that so that you can see what is adding to the vocal for me.
Fools, we find it boring. There's a nation story. A Romani lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. Till foolish begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own.
All right, that's Magma Baby Tube. So I'm using this one to add more texture and character onto the vocal so that it can sound more strong and has more a little subtle distortion on it. Now let me go into the printing of the vocal by doing the gain staging so that I'll be able to check on the compressor. I'll be able to check the level of what I want to print so that I won't have too much weak or too much compressed or hot signal on that. So let's listen to it.
Fools, we find it boring. There's a nation story. A Romani lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. Till foolish begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own. You will love your husband, swarthy woman from the sky to moon, declared a woman. Yet as only payment, I will claim the firstborn brought about by his touch. She who trains her own son, not to be so lonesome, wouldn't care for him much.
All right, here is what I did on this one. I try to push up the input gain to the level that I see that I have enough signal for me to record or to go with. Then after that, so the output level is on 6.50. That's like a kind of default setting, so which I'm good with that. Sometimes I may need to adjust the output gain, but in this case, I think it worked for me here. So another thing that I did here is that I want a subtle compression, and I used the fast attack on that one and also fast release. So what that one is doing for me is that within the 100 ms, the signal would have been well attacked at the initial one. So because if peradventure there's a place that the vocal want to shout all of a sudden, so the fast attack will be able to handle that for me, and it won't compress that too much. With the fast release also, they only cater for that, and it will have the smooth signal for the rest after the first attack. So the rest will be smoother. So take a look at that here. Now look at the first signal where it started, and take a look at this level here. And let's take a look at that. Till it got to this stage, you can see that the signal, compare the printed one with the original one. You can see this place that I'm highlighting. I'll take a look at this place that I'm highlighting here. You can see the dynamic control on the original vocal, and you can see the output on the printed versions. This is smooth. There's no much dynamic on that. I still have a consistent and smooth vocal recording here, which is what I'm trying to do. And now I want to record the vocal properly. So these are the things that you will do during the recording. You will ask the artist to sing for a couple of periods so that you'll be able to adjust the EQ, your input gain and output gain for your recording, for what you want to print out. I'm doing this as if my artist is singing at the same time. If she's here, singing the same way. So this is what I'll be doing. So now, let's say I want to record the vocal.
Fools, we find it boring. There's a nation story. Her romance lady conjured up the moon with prayers that lasted till dawn. Thankfully she begged her for a day when she would marry one of our own. You will love your husband, swarthy woman, from the sky to moon, declared a woman. Yet as only payment, I will claim the firstborn brought about by his touch. She who trains her own son, not to be so lonesome, wouldn't care for him much.
Now I'm done recording the vocals. So let me show you some differences here. Look at the printed one and the original vocal down. So let me turn off the plugins that are added onto it, and probably let me turn off the reverb too so that we can hear the difference. Let me first listen to the printed version.
The moon were like children, but she cannot find love in the darkness above. Tell me now, moon of silver, what you doing?
So listen to the original vocal now.
The moon were like children, but she cannot find love in the darkness above. Tell me now, moon of silver, what you doing, the sun made of flesh and of blood.
Now you just listen to how the preamp enhance my vocal. So this is now my original vocal. So I won't need to do with the DI anymore. So to be on the safer side, I would suggest to you to record both tracks at the same time, the DI and the processed one, just because any slight mistake might happen. But if you are sure of what you are doing, so then move on recording only the processed one. Now, let's see, this is how my recording process is going to be like. So let me quickly show you some differences on the two clips. Take a look at this spot. Look at the original vocal, look at the printed one, and look at how big the vocal is. So this is the advantage of using processing your signal while you want to record vocal or any other instrument that you want to record. Now, after being done with that, I'm going to take this one to my main mixing channel. Then I will mute this one. It's gonna go off like that. So I'll begin the processing of my vocal mix. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you are just watching this video for the first time I want to encourage you to please subscribe to this channel and hit all the notification button. And if you enjoy this video, you like what you just watched, please, I need your support for YouTube algorithm so that this channel can also be bigger. So please don't hesitate to thumb up for me and drop your comment below. So what you see about this, what you just watched, and share this video for everyone. Thank you so much. This is where I'll be stopping to this video. It has been a longer one. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. So I hope to see you next time in the next video. Bye.